So we are live. So hi everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Today we are back with another great episode. This is going to be a good one. It's meant to be a good one episode of Search and Grow podcast, in which we have a new guest, Sara. Sara has been. We've been trying to manage this and then finally making it happen, which I'm very happy for. And it's an absolutely pleasure. Before I introduce you to her, I need to thank our official sponsor, SEO Ranking. It's an SEO tool, which is all-in-one SEO tool, which help you to do things like keyword research, competitor analysis, and many other tasks that will help you, whether you are SEO or non-SEO consultant and you like to use it. I think it's very, very useful tool. And then you have a free trial that we can share in the comments that you can use anytime. And without further ado, welcome Sara Taher, and then thanks for being part of my podcast, and it's an absolutely honor. I know she's obviously she's based in. We've been talking. I know she's based in Ontario, which is Canada. She's an SEO consultant, which writes nice blogs, articles, very useful. So you should check her blog. She covers lots of different topics, which we're going to talk about a few of those today. She's an author, writing content for big portals, SEO portals like Search Engine Journal and all other ones as well. And she also is a speaker. So you also take part in different events. So thank you. And if you like to add anything to the audience, this is your moment. I mean, this is for you. I mean, introduce yourself or.
Hey, thanks, Toni, for having me. I've been doing SEO for 9 years now. I work as an SEO manager at Assembly Global. I have a newsletter and I write regularly on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and the newsletter, obviously, SEO Riddle. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll send the info on her, obviously, to sign up and all that
Sure.
later in the description. Because
Sure.
so tell us what's their story? How did you get into SEO? What's your story about?
It was accidental actually. So I launched an online magazine and I was working with a team of editors and we were writing great content and I was like, okay, so how do we get more people to read it, right? And this is where I started to learn about SEO and like took courses and boot camps and tried things myself. So it wasn't intentional, but it's been a cool journey so far.
Great. Yeah, sometimes I feel like most people we we start with an intentional way, trying things, and then we fall in love, and then it's like lots of work, and then we learn about it. So, in terms of like quality, we talk about obviously like the importance these days on creating content and the quality of the content and all these helpful update, and we can talk about this lots of time. So, what you recommending? What you recommend people or businesses to focus on when it comes to content strategy?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think we should all when we talk about content, we need to start with business goals and identify what you're trying to do, right? Um, I've seen clients that come and say they want to rank for specific keywords. That's their goal, right? Like this is what they want. They want page one for these keywords. Some people come and ask for more revenue, which is more common. Some would ask for more a combination of different things like more traffic and more revenue. So I mean, you need to start there, and then from there you can know what type of content you need to create at with like top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel, and then it's from there you can sort of distribute your efforts in a way that meets your goals. And then once you start writing content, you need to find the right writers and make sure you're providing quality, having your own. Whatever content you're writing, it needs to be good, obviously, but then it's always a good idea to have your own unique angle or something unique that you add to the content.
Definitely, and the when you say, I mean, it's so important, and I agree with you in the terms of like the goals, because people have different goals, different businesses, different resources. And like you say, some people might want to have an approach of keyword base or what the content that you like to target. And it's all about the resources as well, because not everyone has the resources to invest in much content. And obviously, as outsource as much as you can to writers, and then I'm going to mention, for example, one of your where you how to do an audit is one of your articles
Yep.
I read and I went through, and it's very very useful to do an audit, because I think like you probably will agree to that. Sometimes people have create lots of content without focusing on the quality, and that's not the right approach. So it's definitely
Yeah, I mean that piece of content specifically, how to do a content audit, was one of like the most popular things I've ever written. A lot of people, like I've had people reach out and say they shared it with their teams. They liked it. For some reason, I'm not sure why, but a lot of people liked it. And maybe because it just clarifies how you because when we start doing content, the first thing people would jump to, like, let's do keyword research, right? But it's a good idea to start to see what you have first, and what areas you need to focus on, right?
definitely agree. And yeah, obviously the good thing is about making it easy to understand, which is the part of the blog. But then obviously from your own experience, as you mentioned, try to share from your own perspective rather than trying to copy what someone else is doing. That's
Yes, yes. I
brilliant.
mean, if you're just trying to rewrite what everyone else is writing, there isn't gonna be, like, you may potentially rank, by the way, but like you can also be outranked easily, right? Because someone else can come and like redo that again. But once you have your own unique thing, that's one thing that's hard to replicate.
Yeah, totally agree with that. So in terms of when you say obviously the approach, you recommend starting with an audit, the same as you do an audit of your website. You
Yes, I
recommend
mean,
what would you recommend the business starting with any content is the
yeah,
audit,
definitely. I mean,
audit.
we always start the technical work with audits. Why are we starting content work with something else? Like, you need to see
Yeah.
what you have, right? Unless you're starting building a website from scratch, right? This
Mhm.
is maybe different, needs a different way to approach it. But most of the time, you're working on a website that has been existing for a while, and you need to start there.
Definitely. So let's take notes. Everyone who's watching and listening, important to do a content audit. So what how would you explain to someone that who is not working SEO, no is not familiarized with obviously SEO in general? What would you recommend? What would you say the importance? What's the importance of topical authority or things like EEAT and all of that? How would you go about explaining this is key right now? So to do it.
Yeah, so topical authority is basically about you having sufficient coverage on a specific topic to show Google that you are the person to go to for this information in a way or another, right? Like let's say if you're like a sports equipment online store, and you um, let's say you have 2 3 pieces of content on fine dining, for example, or something that's not relevant, you'll not be able to rank with those compared to people who are maybe even a generic website but has more coverage on that topic, right?
Mhm.
So you basically need to have sufficient coverage to show Google that you are some sort of authority in about that like on that topic. And that's the way to like I've seen, for example, recently, people try to reverse engineer like rankings, right? Like, okay, this page is ranking, let's see what pages internally are linking to it, and what pages this page is linking to internally on the website. And
Mhm.
once they see that network and they start to recreate all the other blog posts that are linking to this page, and then create that page, like, because it's never one single page on its own ranking. There's a lot
Mhm.
of other things. So all of these things you need to take into account, and that's basically what topical authority is about. EEAT is about who's writing the content, right?
Mhm.
And one thing is it's not it's the requirement or the way Google requires a certain level of trustworthiness varies on the type of content you're writing. So if you're writing recipes, it's going to be much less, for example, than, or writing about movies, it's going to be much less than website that it's about money or about health, right? Like
Mhm.
it's like a spectrum. So you need to um you need to like so it's important for some really important for some businesses, less important, a tiny bit less important for others. um but with AI coming into the game, I see it becoming more and more important. And then
Yeah.
the thing I like about EEAT is that it acknowledges that you can, as a writer, you can write your own experiences in a medical, for in medical content, for example, and still be able to rank, right? Because for example, if someone is searching for cancer patients success stories, or I'm not sure if success stories is the right word, but like cancer patients stories, or survival stories, or
Mhm.
I'm not sure what's the right wording here. I
Yeah, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
but and someone who has gone through that journey and have a blog about it, for example, may be able to rank, actually, because they're sharing their own experiences. So I like that Google acknowledges that,
Mhm.
because it was very easy before adding that extra E to think that anyone writing about a medical topic would not have any authority in the area, or it would not reflect, or would not be seen by Google as trustworthy. So yeah, I mean, EEAT is definitely gonna become more and more important with the AI revolution going on. Right?
We'll
Like
talk
who's
about that in a minute. Obviously, everyone is talking about it. Everyone is asking how to trick things or how I can do things in a much easier way and create content, websites, do everything
yeah.
automatically, which you can do. But then obviously there is a human side and experience side and things that people are going to trust more, and Google as well, right?
Yes, yes, definitely, yes.
Yeah, I like when you say obviously the new E, because for those obviously who not very familiarized, the before used to be EAT and now it's a new E, which is expertise and added to experience. So which is basically what you mentioned about adding more of your experience or real expertise and demonstrating it basically in a content, which is something that most people overlook and don't do up or don't talk about it, just explain how to do something, but they don't actually say, okay, this is how I did it. So it's very, very cool and very, very, very interesting for I think
Yeah, and also with the product reviews updates, right? Like Google wants to make sure that you actually tried the product that you're writing a review about, which makes sense, right? Um, and Google, I think so far have released like five
Mhm.
uh, product review updates, which shows like how important this actually is. Yeah.
There's one going on right now, isn't it? While we're talking, there's always something going on with
Yeah.
updates. I don't know why it's always making a life harder. No, no life harder. No, improving things. Like I say, always is for it. Google does that to improve things. That does that to make things difficult, to make better experience in some ways. So with the arrival of AI, and we know we were going to talk about this, ChatGPT, Google Bard, or new Microsoft AI being, which I don't know if you tested, but it's like, have you tested? You tested Microsoft, the new one?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Is it working? I haven't had it.
It delivers what it's expected to do, right? Uh, I just would like to see how like I'm like more interested in seeing how Google would roll out its own AI version, right? Because that's when we're gonna have enough data to see, okay, what's the impact, how it's gonna work, right?
Mm,
I've also tried Niva, um,
mhm,
and you know, generally speaking, they're good, right? That we cannot deny that. But one thing I noticed when I tried Niva is, was it Niva, or because there's one more. One of those AI search engines. So
mhm,
once I tried, they are. so you cannot switch the, like if you search for something and then they, or ask them something and they reply, right, and they cite their sources and everything, and then let's say you want to change the conversation to something else, you need to, it's not in the same place, you need to like go and restart
Um,
again, right? Because if you yeah,
it's not like chat GPT that everything
yes,
flows
yes,
flows in
exactly, it's
conversation,
not,
and then you're
yes,
feeling like
it's,
you're having an actual conversation with
yes,
someone,
yes,
right?
it's not that, right? One of, I don't remember which one, but it's not like that right now, right?
Mhm,
And so I'm more curious how Google's one is going to roll out. How is it going to get attribution? And also I noticed something is, or one thing to um highlight is the UX is going to be very important, because it's not just about attributing, because some of search engines would provide like on the side the
mhm,
like sort of thumbnail to the sources they cited, so not just links or added numbers in like in those academic ways, but also on the side
mhm,
you can sort of see this, so this would actually increase the CTR, right? So that's good. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm really curious about how Google is going to roll this out, the UX, and how it's going to look like. And something I've been thinking of is Google have been showing featured snippets for so long now.
mhm.
Why not, like, why why did they not roll AI sooner? Because they've been doing something very similar, right? So I mean, we'll have to wait and see, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really looking forward as well to see what Google is gonna come up
Hi,
with.
LinkedIn user. I don't know. I cannot see the name, but
I
I
know, I
hi.
know, I know. Because StreamYard is, if they don't log using a StreamYard, they don't log in, you're not gonna
Okay,
see the
okay.
person. But we say hello to everyone who is
Yeah.
watching and following, and
And my
they
cats as well are saying hello. So
hello to Sarah's cats.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tried like sending them somewhere, but I hope they're
It's
not
okay.
making a lot. Yeah.
We we are cat friendly, so we're cat
Yeah.
friendly. No, no problem.
I
No
like this cat friendly thing. Yeah.
problem. So in terms what in terms of like what would you have, because obviously people that are not working in the SEO industry, they thinking about, oh, I think with ChatGPT or AI I can replace content writers, I can replace SEO. This is going to be like I ask a few questions and they're going to optimize my website automatically, or they're going to give me all the hacks or whatever. So what how you think, or how you will I mean, would you say is impacting at the moment, or what the pros and cons you feel like affecting from AI and SEO? What the you think is the best and the worst of
So
it?
the best analogy I read, and I think it was Kevin's Indig, I think, I'm not sure, I think, is that AI written content or AI writing tools are similar to calculators. They've never replaced, like calculators have always, like they've been there for so long and they've never replaced humans, right? So they just sort of automate or simplify things and provide higher accuracy. Obviously, there are a lot of things you can calculate yourself, but there are some things that are more complicated, and then as complexity increases, the potential for error increases. So yeah, so I don't see AI, at least in the time being, replacing copywriters at all. I've experimented with AI writing tools, and um, I mean, their output is good, but it's still not it, how I see it, or how it does lack human touch. And then I see that it still needs to be double checked, and so it is help to supplement copywriters, like a copywriter or someone who, like, for example, if I'm an SEO, my skill set isn't really, or I don't, like, my copywriting skills are not that good. So sometimes when I'm writing a blog, I just struggle with the introduction, because I just don't want to like jump in directly into the topic. I just want to say something, and then don't want to be bored, like it I just, and I hate it, because it's, for me,
I'm
it's
the
a waste
same.
of yeah.
I'm the same. I'm not really good. I mean, copywriters are copyright. They have their own
Yeah,
skills on
yeah.
how to say things in different way. I can get ideas from ChatGPT, or they say, okay, we're gonna structure this way or this. But then you have when I sit down to write something, it's kind of like sometimes, oh, how do I phrase this? How do I phrase that? Yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely agree with you.
it does help. Like recently, I've used ChatGPT to help me rephrase an email. Like I was sending an
Mhm,
email and I wanted to make sure it sounds professional, it sounds nice, it doesn't come. But choice of words, especially for someone who speaks English as a second language, so it's so helpful in that. But even copywriters, I see they can, for example, use those tools to help them generate a comprehensive outline, for example, right? Like what
mhm.
all, in, and then every copywriter or content manager would need to add their unique angle to that or unique points, but it does help them make sure they are covering everything if they're like writing a complete guide to something, for example. um, and also I think it's good to automate things like meta description, because it's a total waste of time and honestly, to go through it one by one, like especially when you're working on a website with like 1000 pages or plus, right? It's just so there's no point, right? Because there may not be, I mean, you want to optimize them, but like the impact effort is, is doesn't add up, right? Like you're to go through every single page on your website, especially as I said, if it's 1K plus, up to invest few minutes or a minute or two thinking about a unique optimized meta description with a CTA, and then uh, that may never actually, and this meta description may never see the light of day. Some, in
No,
search.
no, no.
So
I
yeah,
totally agree. And then if it's gonna, obviously, it's gonna help. Gonna help us to make our job easier or faster in a way
yes.
with the annoying tasks. No, the annoying tasks that you can kind of, okay, create me all this version, 20 version, 50 versions of this with this and that. That's pretty cool, actually.
And I mean, there's
That's it.
something as we, a lot of us, or a lot of people are concerned because our clicks are going to decrease and so on with Google using chatbot in search. But then we forgot, or I forgot when I'm talking, like in my previous discussions, I forgot about the big publishers, and they're not gonna be, they won't, like they won't just accept that. So there's a lot of pushback, not just from the SEO community. There's a lot of, like, all those big publishers, news outlets, they will not be happy with that, right? Because a lot of those have their business models built on ads, for example, or stuff like that. Like there's a lot of things, and they need people obviously to come to their website. So um, I think, I'm not sure how the first iteration that Google's going to roll out will look like, but I know it's over time it needs to come to some sort of equilibrium where publishers are happy and Google, yeah,
Yeah, but I definitely, I mean, definitely because Google obviously makes money of
and
when people are using it, but then from advertisement, obviously a lot, and then from if there is no website publications and people making websites and ranking and driving traffic and living by Google, I mean, this business will will
yeah,
disappear.
yeah, definitely, yeah, and I think we've seen a lot of weird things. Bing, like a lot of people got some weird
Hmm.
results from Bing, right? And I think Google delaying it does make sense, right? It's
Mhm.
just so the concern is if
It's
they
a
did
strategic, it's
yeah,
a strategic move, right? They might just want to look at what Bing is doing and
yeah,
analyze, and then they're
yeah,
gonna
someone
then
else, like, use someone else's, like,
yeah,
testing it on someone else,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
sit back and see what happens. So it's not they obviously they were taken by surprise because, as I said, if they wanted to roll it earlier, they would have done it because they've been doing feature snippets for long.
Hmm.
But maybe they wanted someone else to do it first. You never know. Like, we never really know. But maybe they freaked out about it and they're trying to push it. But they said, okay, let's wait a bit and see. Like, let someone else mess up, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely, definitely. With SEO, sometimes you need competition to analyze and see what they've been doing. Some
yeah,
to
yeah,
see, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this different, or so it's good to have competitors to look at.
yeah, yeah. Yes,
And as long as they don't take their market share and the users, that's the other part. But at the moment,
um,
I think people are still on Google. although they use TikTok or other platforms, but
Yeah, I think people, or we are, or Bing has been overestimated, because when you look at trends, like I was checked recently, trends for Google trends for Google
Mhm.
and for Bing, and there's no comparison. Like Bing is still, I think it's becoming popular in the SEO industry a bit, and a lot of people are like signing up, right? Because but
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, and maybe marketers, people in tech maybe, but the average user, like there's no reason for them so far, no strong enough reason for them so far to
good switch.
go to
Yeah,
Bing. Yeah,
definitely.
like they've been using Google for so long, so yeah.
Definitely. And for us, it makes sense to still work. We needed to still alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so in moving a bit, I mean, we move in there is so much conversation maybe with between SEOs and marketers about the importance of entity SEO. And can you explain? I know you've been talking about this topic, and you know very well about entities, SEO entities, and what it is and what they important or what is important.
Yeah, entities are pretty much related to topical authority, right? Again, when you write, let's say you're writing a blog post about Tony, about you, right?
Mhm,
I'm writing about you, like there are things I need to mention there, to say that I covered you comprehensively, right? Like, what if I write about you and never mention that you have a podcast, for example? That's not comprehensive, right? There's missing data. So entities are a way to establish that you have covered everything related to something you're talking about.
mhm.
And that adds up to, or is directly connected to topical authority. Without thinking of entities, you won't be able to establish topical authority.
Definitely, I think it's like we say, no, like brands, you need to stand out, and then you need to earn that expertise, and then show what you do, but then also build your brand, which is an important part of any strategy, SEO as well. Build your brand and get your brand recognition and get more people to search your brand, etc. Then in terms of obviously tools, I know we use for our work lots of different tools. At least myself, lots of different marketing, SEO tools, project management, different tools to make our job easier or better or faster. What are the tools, SEO, digital marketing, or business, that you can't live without?
Oh, I can't live without Google Search Console. That's like the one thing I can never live without. I cannot live without analytics as well. I would say I don't want to say specific keyword research tool, but definitely a third-party keyword research tool is essential as well. So yeah, these are my like bread and butter.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Search Console, 100%. I mean, it's the one to start. The thing with Google Analytics now is, I don't know how you feel about Google Analytics 4, but this could be for another podcast. But Google
Yeah.
Analytics 4, getting used to at the moment. I mean, been using it for a while, but then it's a bit of a change, big change, isn't it? 100% with Google Universal. So the next one is a bit more personal, because I like, you share a bit more of your interest. So if you had to choose or name a few people that you not a couple of people, a few people that you recommend following, or they inspire you, and which one would recommend?
Oh, that's a tough one because there's so many people, and I don't want to like
You can mention a few if you want.
few people.
Yeah,
I'm just don't like I just don't want to forget
yeah.
mentioning someone,
Sorry,
right?
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of awesome people out there. They're all awesome, to be
Yeah,
honest. Yeah.
100%, 100%. I mean, we could be mentioning like lots of. I mean, the newsletter every
Yeah, and
week.
and a lot of them are like my friends, so I don't want to like
Yeah.
forget someone. Yeah.
So let's move on to that one. I
Yeah.
understand. I agree perfectly. It's totally fine. In terms of books or films or anything that inspires
Yeah,
you,
there are
or
two books I like the most in my entire life, generally reading. One is called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. It's
Mhm.
awesome because everything is just small and it's gonna pass by sometime. And then the other one is Stop Whining, Start Living. The title is weird, but it really, really talks about living life in a good way. And I like those two. Like are my favorite books.
That's pretty good. Yeah, no, I love them. I'll obviously I'll share the recommendations with everyone, and I'll look into them as well, because they sound like really, really cool books. And we coming to the end of this podcast. I mean, I'm having really good time, to be honest. The time flies always. And then I would say, if you were to choose another profession or to do something that is not SEO, what would you choose?
Okay, this is really weird. I would have worked in a bookshop. or work in academia, like in research or something.
Right, very good, very good. Not like the guy from You. Are you seen You? You seen it? No, but they work as a librarian.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Or in a bookshop or a library, and something around that. Something around books, yeah.
Cool, very cool, very cool. I wasn't expecting that one. Would you recommend, what would you recommend learning SEO? Any platform, blogs? I mean, there are plenty.
So there is a technical course on Udemy by Mark William Cook. It's really, really good. There is Alida's Solace Resource Learning.io. I think that's the website. LearningSEO.io. That's really, really good as well. And then I just would say, like everyone else, you need to launch your own website, and yeah.
In tested, yeah, definitely, and those are very good resources, as well as SEO FOMO by Leida newsletter, and there's lots of resources in terms of that. And then we just come to the end, and I like obviously to thank you so much for your time, for sharing your experience, your knowledge with me and with everyone else. It's been a pleasure. I had an amazing time. And can you tell people where can find you, your website, your social media, your newsletter, so they can follow you and check some of your content?
Yeah, Sara-Taher.com. Yeah. That's where they can find me. They can sign up for my newsletter. They can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm very vocal there, so.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I mean, the content in LinkedIn is very good, and I say like short tips and advice, which is really good. So I recommend that as well. And yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, hopefully see you in one event one day. Personally, I would love to meet you in person one day in one of the events.
Definitely.
See where, because they be events more. We gladly have events happening back again face to face. So one day, who knows? Who knows? So take care, Sara. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for watching or listening. If you listen the podcast version, thanks to our official sponsor, SE Ranking, for sponsoring the podcast and supporting. And yeah, see you next time. Bye. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.